Okay, so hello friends. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my YouTube channels, and today we are going to start on the basic to learn the basic of SQL Server. So let's start. So first questions that every freshers, every IT beginners when they start for SQL learning, one of the first things come to mind is what is SQL, right? So we are going to learn about what is SQL. So let me share my screen. Hmm. Let me check where is the option for share the screen. Okay, I got it. So, okay, friends, so let's start with what is SQL Server. And okay, so if you can go on Google and if you find what is SQL DBMS, then you will understand that SQL is a structured query language. This is a long form of SQL, and sometimes in professional world we call it as a SQL, and it is actually SQL. Okay, so the long form for this is a structured query language. So this is nothing but one programming language for storing and processing information of a relational database. Okay, so what is a relational database? Okay, so we'll understand this in a bit. So uh, SQL is nothing but a programming language, a structured language that is communicate with your database. Okay, that is communicate with your relational database. So we'll understand in a bit what is the relational database, what is the need of that relational database, what is the need of SQL, why SQL, and a lot of questions there in your mind, right? So we are going to learn all that stuff. Okay, so first understand that what is the relational database. So for this, I have one. So this is what the Microsoft SQL Server application software that is installed on my machine. Okay, and I've created one sample database, that is Amazon sample database. Okay, so if you can, if I go and write a simple SQL statement, that is select star from customer table. So you can see that this is the tables that I got, right? So here you can see that this is customer ID, customer names, mail, and the contact numbers, and the customer address. So this is how it's stored in a tabular format. Okay, so that data is stored in uh, tabular formats, and that's why it's called as database, relational database. Why it is a relational database? So if I run one more query, that is a select star from, let's say I have the one more tables, right? That is product, and then again I have one more table, let's say select star from order detail, right? So if I order detail, so if I run these three tables, you can see that, just imagine, okay, we'll try to understand this with a real-time example. Let's say you are a customer, you are buying something on Amazon websites. So let's say you are a customer, you are buying some product. Let's say these are the product list, right? Redmi Note, iPhone, washing machine, TV. So you are purchasing one product from the Amazon. So all that product, so Amazon will store all this data, okay, product related data into the one table. It will store all customer details into the customer table. And when you go on Amazon site, and when you purchase when one purchase of the products, that entry goes into the order details. Just assume that this is how you can learn the things by considering the day-to-day transactions or the real-time scenarios. So let's say this is the customer one, right? So this is the customer ID, which is unique key, and that's called as primary key. We'll learn this in later, but just for now, I hope it's clear for you what SQL is a structured programming language, and it's that is used to storing and processing the information of the relational database. So if you can see, this is the table, this is the this all tables is created using the SQL. This table, the data inserted into this using the SQL, and even this data is retrieved or fetched, okay, right? Select star from this, so that data is retrieved from the using SQL. Okay, so that's the main concept of main concept of SQL and relational database. I hope You got clear now? We'll learn in detail and the step by step everything. So I just want to clear on high level what is SQL, how it looks, why it is a relational database, because there is a relation between the entities, right? Customers and the products and the order. There is a relations between these entities. There is a relations between that customer and products and the order details. That's why we call it as a relational database. So all these tables, okay, this is customer table, this is product table, this is order details table. Okay, so all these tables stored into sorry, all these three tables, if you can see, okay, that comes under this tab. Okay, so table, and this table is come under the database Amazon sample database. So we are going to learn everything practically. What is the database, what is the relational database, and what is the structural query language. I hope on a high level you understand these things, what is SQL and what is actually the relational database. So now we are instead of this Amazon sample DB, I will create one more database for you. Okay, so before that, you have to understand everything's in detail. So this is SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so let me go to the new window. Okay, so MS SQL Server. So this is the Microsoft SQL Server application software, which is developed by Microsoft. So we call it as MS Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, if the same application is developed by Oracle, and same application is developed by MySQL company, and lot of this. So we'll not go in detail about this. We'll currently focus on just on Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so let's we'll using the structured query language, using the SQL, we will create our first we'll create our first database. Then I will call it as a relational database. Okay, first relational database, then in there's tables, then how to insert data into that, then how to update data, and how to delete data from this, and how to select data from this. The select, which is already we have seen, but still we'll look into this in detail, no problem. Okay, so before we create this first relational database, okay, in this server, okay, I have two videos already uploaded on my YouTube channel. You can see and watch this video. So first steps is you have to install Microsoft SQL Server on your machine. Okay, so I already installed this because it takes 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes. So to save the time, I already installed this on my machine. You can go and watch this video on my YouTube channel. And once you install the Microsoft SQL Server, then you can create uh, Control X. You can see, sorry. Okay. So first step is very important. Install SQL Server, this applications, or you can call it as a software on your machine. Then you can create a database. Then you can create tables. Then you can create, once you create a tables, you can add data, insert data. You can modify the data. Okay, insert is called as add the data. Update is called as modify the data. And delete, that means it's removed. Okay, and then select means you can fetch the data from the database. Okay, so far so clear, right? I hope everything is clear so far. And now we'll go and create now the install steps that's already done. You can go and watch my video. So once you install the video, or once you install the Microsoft SQL Server on your machine, you can see that this will be the tab which will come to your machine on your laptop. So you have to just click here. Okay, and it will open this software. Okay, so if you want, I can reconnect again, no problem. Let me close this, cancel. Let me copy this because we will need this. Control A, copy, and let me close this. Okay, cancel. And you can see that here, right, that SQL software is there. SQL Server Management Studio 19. This will be the software. So you just have to click here and it will open my software. Now, first thing first is that in, okay, you can see that the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So you have to install this Management Studio on SQL Server. So where this is the Management Studio, which is a console, which is IDE. We can call it as IDE, that is Integrated Development Environment, where you can write your queries and you can connect to your Microsoft SQL Server. So when you install, you have to install two things. First is Microsoft SQL Server you have to install, and second is SSIS Management Studio. Okay, so once you install both the things, this is the SQL Server Management Studio. Once you open this Management Studio, the by default server will come here. Okay, so that is your Microsoft SQL Server, and you can connect with Windows authentications, or maybe you can connect with Microsoft SQL Server authentications, login, user ID, and password. So this configurations and then these settings will be there while you do the installations. Okay, so I'm connecting with the Windows authentication. So it will take my Windows credentials to log into this. And if I click here, perfect. So it's connected to that SQL Server. So my Management Studio is connected to my SQL Server. Now, if I go into the database, if I click on plus sign, I can see there's some system databases, okay, some data snapshots, and this is my Amazon sample database. Okay, so let me go here, right click and create a new database. Okay, and let me give you the name Amazon DB. Okay, this time I'm giving the name as Amazon DB, and I'm just clicking on OK. Perfect. Now my first database is created. Okay, Amazon database. You can see that there's table, views, query stores, synonyms, programmability, so many things there. But currently we'll focus on table. Okay, so this is my table. Okay, so you can see that there's no any user defined table so far. So we'll create one table. Okay, so for this, just click Control N, or you can go File and New File. You can click here and you can go for SQL file. I don't see the SQL file. Okay, no problem. Just sorry, click here new query and you'll find just do a Control N or just click on the new query. You will find this tab where you can write your SQL query. So, and when you select here, here it will be available databases. So this is Amazon sample DB, which is already created, and this is the Amazon database, that Amazon DB that we currently created. Now, this is my database. Now in this database, I will create a tables. Then in tables, I will insert some data, will update some data, and will delete some data. Okay, so let's understand the syntax. Okay, which is very, very important, because as a freshers, as a beginners, you must understand the syntax. You must understand the code, the SQL code, because that is what you they will ask you in the interview. Okay, so try to write your code so that you will be perfect. Try to practice your code so that you will be perfect, and that will give you the confidence in the interview. Okay, so I'm creating one table. Okay, create table customer. Okay, and I'm giving here, let's say, customer ID is my integers table. Okay, then my customer name is my data type. Okay, so you need a data type. Okay, so when I'm storing customer ID, so that value will be the integers. When I'm storing customer name, that will be my varchar, and the size of that. Okay, or how many characters will be there. So step by step you'll understand all the available data types in SQL, when to use which data type. So don't worry, step by step we'll understand everything. So this is my customer name. I'm adding address of customer. Okay, so this is cust underscore address, customer address, and this will be the data type. Sorry. Okay, I'm adding 500. Okay, contact mobile number. Again, I'm adding this as an integer, and what extra need? Email ID, that will be again varchar 100 will be dated up, because this is characters and there might be integers value as well, right? So this is combinations of var and char, so it will take all that characters and the numbers in the geo email ID. So I think for just to understand on basic levels, this data is enough, right? So I just click on the execute button and see my command is command completed successfully. Now you can see that this is the, if I go here and if I refresh this, I can see this database is already created here, right? Customer tables. Good. Now if I click Control N, I will go into the new query window. So this is my first query window. I can save this code. Okay, I can save this file. The same way, I'm going to the new query window, and here what I will do, I will insert some data into this customer table. So before that, this is my statement to fetch the records, select star from customer. Okay, and if I execute, you can see that I don't see any data, but I can see only columns, right? There is no data. Okay, so now if I go and I want to insert some data here, so, okay, so what I will do, insert into customer table. This is my customer table. Okay, and in that customer table, I have to mention my column name. Okay, that will be the standard coding syntax. Okay, so this is my customer ID. Okay, and this is my customer name. Let's say this is my customer address that I have to insert, right? Customer address as well. Then I have to insert mobile number. So I'm specifying all this column number, that sequence. Okay, email ID. Okay, comma separated. Okay, and insert into this, and I want to insert in this table for this column values, right? So what values? Okay, so I'm adding values is the syntax. Again, it's a syntax of SQL. Okay, customer ID, let's say I'm adding as a 1. Customer name, let's say I'm adding my name, Kiran. Okay, customer address, I'm adding as Pune. Okay, let's say, and let's say customer address, mobile numbers, I'm adding my mobile number, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, and my email ID, I'm adding my email ID. When it is varchar, okay, you have to give in single quotes. When it's in integers, you can add this, that's not a problem. So email ID, I'm adding as Kiran @ gmail.com. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, when you want to add when you want to insert any record, when you want to add any record into this database. Okay, so this is my customer ID 1, customer name, customer address, Pune, mobile number, and email ID. Okay, I have to close this bracket and I have to insert this. Wow, one row is affected, right? That means one row is added into my table. So now if I select star, if I select this statement, select star from customers, and if I run, I will get one record. Perfect. This is how you can add multiple records. You can add, this is how the same way when you go to the Amazon and when you register into the Amazon application, amazon.com, your data is stored in the same way. Okay, in the same way means you can just imagine, or you can just assume that this is the same way the Amazon or any applications from the web applications, when you insert the data, when you go for the registrations on any applications on any websites, this is how the data is gets stored into the database. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. So this is the way, this is the same way you can add multiple records. Again, there is a lot of things, okay, that we have to learn, like that. mm, this customer ID is auto generated in SQL. So we'll understand step by step, but for now you just to understand, I'm just uh, doing this with the basic steps. Okay, again, customer ID, I'm adding as a 2, I'm adding this as a 3, I'm adding this as a 4. Okay, I'm adding this. Let's say you can add different names or different friends so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, I'm just for now, I'm just adding 2, I'm adding this as a 3, I'm adding this as a 4. Okay, and I'm inserting these statements. Perfect. One rows affected, one rows affected, one rows affected. For these 3 records, the records for these 3 records, the records get inserted for these 3 statements. So now if I go and select star from the customer tables, tell me, just pause the video and tell me how many number of rows I can see in the customer table. Okay. I'm executing this and you can see that I can see that 4 records inserted into the my table. So as we discussed, we have created tables, we have inserted the data. Now we are going to see 2 more operations is update and delete. Okay, let's say update means we will modify some data and delete means we will remove some records from the applications. Okay, so I hope so far so clear for you guys. When you log into the Amazon applications or any applications, when you fill registration form or any details, so this is how that data is get stored into the database. Okay, now let's assume there is another scenario. Okay, now you have logged into the Amazon websites, you added your details, right? Customer, Kiran, Pune, mobile number, and the email ID. Now let's say I want to change my address. I shift from Pune to Mumbai, and now I want to change my address. How it happen into the application side? So you go on applications, you change your address, and you just submit your details from the application side. So, but actually in the database side, in the backend, how it is happens. Okay, so we'll understand this in detail. Okay, so let's say for this update or modify, the syntax is update table name. Okay, so my update, this is my table name, right? Update customer table set. Let's say I want to change my customer address, right? So I will take this column name, right? And I want to change this to Pune. Instead of Pune, I want to change this to Mumbai. Okay, where, so for that syntax is like this, from customer table. Okay, and for this, the syntax, you need one alias for this. Okay, so I'm adding alias as a C. Okay, now you can call it update C, and then in the set you have to C dot, this is my customer address, right? So customer address is equal to Mumbai from this customer, right? Where is the conditions which will help you to filter the data? Okay, so let's say I will tell you first how to use the where condition in the select statement. Where, let's say select star from customer, customer where customer underscore ID is equal to 1. So I will get the first record. Okay, because I have added the where condition. So this is the filter criteria added into the database. So let's say in the Amazon, there is thousands of records. In any database, there are thousands of records, but your records will be the unique. Your customer ID will be the unique, right? So based on this, we can fetch your records. So this is how you can fetch the records. Now, for these records, I want to update the uh, address, right? So I'm copying this and I'm adding into the where condition. So what I'm saying with this SQL statement, that just update for this customer ID. Okay, for this first record, update my address to Mumbai. Okay, so if I run this, okay, so you can add c dot customer ID. So this is what the syntax is. Okay, from this customer, for this customer this customer ID, update the customer address to Mumbai. Okay, and if I run this, it will, one row is affected. That means that one row is affected, updated already. Okay, now if I go and do the select star from customer where customer ID is equal to 1, and if I execute this, wow, you can see that, right? Update is happened. Perfect. That means this is how the update statement is work. So now when the next time you go on Amazon, update your address, and when you go for shopping and when you order something, the new product or new order will come to your new address, right? Interesting. I hope you're enjoying this. Okay, and the last one that we are going to understand about the delete. Okay, let's say one customers don't, let's say one customers, don't want to, is inactive for a long time on Amazon site, and maybe he want to delete his account. Okay, maybe from sometimes we see that, right, from the Facebook or from the Instagram, from social media, we delete our accounts. Okay, so how these things is going to be happen? Actually, technically, I'll tell you how they delete. And actually, they just inactive that records, but that will learn in later. But currently, just to understand how delete works, I will show you the delete query. So let's say for now, I'm selecting select star from customers. So let's say this Kiran for is customer, which is inactive since long times, and this user want to delete his accounts. When from the applications, from the UI side, when he delete this account, so how this get deleted, we'll understand. So let's say I want to delete for this customer ID is equal to 4. So first of all, I will write this query select star from customer where customer ID is equal to 4, right? So if I select this, I will get this record. Okay, now let's say I want to delete this record. So delete from which table I want to delete? I want to delete from this customer table. So I'm writing this customer, and for where conditions I'm adding, because I want to change for this customer, right? So where customer ID is equal to 4, and if I execute this, that means it will one row is get deleted from my table. Okay, now tell me one thing. Okay, if I select star from if I do the select star from customers, how many records will come? Just pause the video and tell me how many records it will come. Only 3, right? Because one records we have deleted, one records we have removed from this data from this customer table. So if I execute this, you can see that that one record is get deleted. So I hope so far you understand about what is the select conditions, what is the where conditions, what is the insert, update, and delete. Okay, so that's all for this today's session, and I hope you understand everything. Let me summarize everything, okay, for you guys. So first thing is you have to install the SQL server on your machine. Okay, then you have to install management management studio on your machine. So once you then you have to open this management studio, you have to connect to the SQL server, then you have to create your first database, then you have to create your first table, then you have to create your first insert statement, create your first update statement. Okay, and then same like you have to write your first delete statement. And trust me guys, if you practice this, it will give you the confidence. Okay, because there's some tools like W3 schools and the W3 schools and so many web applications are there to do the practice actually. But if you want to learn from scratch, if you want to looking for long-term game, okay, I'm in IT industry since last 16 years, and I know that if you want to learn in details, because that SQL server configurations and all that stuff you need to understand in detail if you want to be go on higher positions, architect level positions, then you must understand everything in detail. What is the SQL server, how to install the SQL server, what is the management studio, how can I connect to the, and how I can create my own database, because this is what the client needed, this is what the company needed. You should understand everything in detail, not only on high level, but you have to understand everything in detail. Okay, so this is what actually about this video, and I hope you understand on basic level how other things are working for uh, on SQL side. And I hope now if you go again to the definitions, and I hope now you will understand in a clear in a clear manner that what is the structured query language. So this is a programming language, right? Why it is programming language? Because programming language because it you are writing the code, right? Programming code, right? Insert, update, delete, create database, create tables, where conditions, modify, delete, all that you are doing, right? So with the help of SQLs, right? You are storing the data. That means you're inserting the data, you are processing informations, right? You are processing information. That means inserting, deleting, modifying, deleting, blah blah blah. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that you are doing with the help of that SQL, that is structured query language. And this is how, using the SQLs, you are creating that relational databases, right? A relational database tables, and there's relations between the customer, orders, and products, right? So this is how we are going to learn in detail so many things. And so this is just a basic video, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and comment and share with your friends who are trying to learn this SQL from scratch. And definitely I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.